There's a story that the world refuses to acknowledge, a story that has been suppressed for far too long, one that reveals the true power behind Black excellence. It is a tale of resilience, brilliance, and untold sacrifices hidden behind the false narratives constructed to diminish the greatness of Black communities. To truly understand Black excellence, we must peel back the layers of history that have been distorted and reveal the raw truth about the strength and potential that has always existed. Black excellence is not just a trend. It is a testament to the perseverance of individuals who were constantly told that they were less than, only to rise higher than anyone ever imagined. From the moment African people were forcibly brought to the shores of America, the world sought to strip them of their identity, their history, and their potential. They were enslaved, brutalized, and oppressed. But in the midst of this darkness, there was light. Black excellence was born in the very fire that sought to destroy it. The first whispers of this excellence were heard in the fields of the South, where the strength of a people was tested daily. The work was grueling, the conditions inhumane, yet there was no stopping the resilience that ran through their veins. These were not just slaves, but scholars, poets, engineers, and innovators, forced to keep their gifts hidden in order to survive. As centuries passed, Black excellence continued to be suppressed. For every Black inventor who changed the world, for every scientist who contributed groundbreaking ideas, their names were buried in history books that never truly acknowledged their contributions. Think of George Washington Carver, who discovered thousands of uses for peanuts and other crops, revolutionizing agriculture and creating a pathway for economic independence in the Black community. Yet, how many people know his name today compared to his white contemporaries? The truth is that Black people have been at the forefront of innovation and progress throughout history, but their stories have been buried. While the world was celebrating the achievements of white people, Black Americans and Africans were quietly creating the foundations for many of the systems that we now take for granted. The contributions of Black people to the fields of music, art, literature, medicine, and science are far more significant than most realize, yet their voices have been silenced for too long. The world has been content with ignoring the achievements of Black people, but the time for that silence is over. In music, Black artists laid the groundwork for almost every genre that defines popular culture today. From jazz to blues to hip-hop, these genres are rooted in the struggles, the joys, and the stories of Black communities. But while their music was changing the world, many of these artists were still being denied the recognition they deserved. People like Billie Holiday, Nina Simone, and Tupac Shakur created sounds and messages that resonated with millions, yet they were often overlooked or vilified. The power of their music was so great that it transcended borders, cultures, and languages, but the world failed to acknowledge the true depth of their genius. In literature, Black writers have told the stories of their people with a rawness and honesty that is unmatched. Writers like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Maya Angelou didn't just write for the sake of storytelling. They wrote to redefine the very concept of what it meant to be Black in a world that sought to erase them. Their works became the foundation for understanding Black identity, culture, and history, but for years they were ignored or dismissed by the mainstream literary world. The truth is, the voices of Black writers have always been the driving force behind social change, yet their contributions were often stolen or rebranded by white authors who benefited from the recognition that should have gone to them. In the sciences, Black innovators have often worked in the shadows, creating breakthroughs that revolutionized medicine, technology, and agriculture. Take Dr. Charles Drew, who developed the modern blood banking system, saving countless lives in World War II, or Garrett Morgan, who invented the first traffic light and a gas mask used by soldiers in World War I. These were not just inventions. They were life-saving innovations that changed the course of history. Yet, too many of these innovators were pushed to the periphery, their names often forgotten or overshadowed by the contributions of white inventors. The truth is that the world has only scratched the surface of understanding the vast contributions that Black people have made to science and technology. Black excellence is not just about individual achievements. It is about the collective strength of a people who have been through centuries of oppression only to rise above it. It is the power of community, the spirit of unity, and the relentless drive to succeed, no matter the obstacles. It is seen in the faces of young Black students who defy the odds and graduate from the best universities. It is seen in the black entrepreneurs who build multi-million-dollar companies from the ground up despite facing systemic barriers. It is seen in the athletes who dominate their respective sports, breaking records and setting new standards of excellence. It is seen in the artists who use their talents to uplift and inspire, telling stories that resonate across generations. But Black excellence is also about the legacy of those who came before us. It is about the ancestors who fought for freedom, for equality, and for the right to live with dignity. It is about the Harlem Renaissance, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Black Power movement, all of which paved the way for the world we live in today. Every step forward in the fight for equality and justice has been made possible by the sacrifices of those who fought for what they believed in, even when the world told them they couldn't. However, despite these monumental achievements, there is still a narrative that seeks to downplay Black excellence. The media continues to perpetuate stereotypes and negative portrayals of Black people, focusing on violence and poverty rather than the true stories of success and achievement. These false narratives seek to diminish the greatness that resides within Black communities, obscuring the full extent of their contributions to society. But the world cannot ignore the truth forever. The rise of social media and the power of the internet have given Black voices a platform to share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. In the age of digital empowerment, the world is starting to take notice. Black influencers, creators, and activists are reshaping the narrative and demanding the recognition that has been long overdue. No longer can the world afford to ignore Black excellence, for it is now impossible to overlook the undeniable contributions that Black people have made to every facet of society. As we move forward, it is important that we continue to uplift and celebrate Black excellence in all its forms. We must reject the false narratives that have been forced upon us and embrace the truth. Black excellence is not just a possibility. It is a reality. It is the foundation upon which the future will be built. We must recognize that Black people have always been at the forefront of progress, and we must continue to honor their legacy by pushing for more opportunities, more representation, and more equality. T.